The problem with dark ride building in Planet Coaster is that you set yourself up for failure. In this video, we're going to be breaking down what makes an original, unpredictable and realistic dark ride with the help of Flooded Tombs. And he isn't hearing this, but I think that this just might be one of the best that I've ever seen. So you're not going to want to miss this one to improve your Planco skills and, well, let's get him in the core. So, Flooded Tombs, thank you so much for joining me, hopefully for the first time of many, hopefully on the channel. We'll pretend that we haven't really been talking for half an hour already. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm really excited because we've never really had a creator on the channel who's actually talking about their build that we're going to be seeing on the screen today. So I apologise in advance for my compliments of, I don't know, amazement for this ride. But this was actually for a Planco console Discord contest that we run over on our Discord. And it was a family attraction themed to a mascot, and that's what you were briefed to do, really. So what were your initial thoughts behind your initial ideas for this ride? And you say it was your first ever attempt at a dark ride, and that's why I think this is incredible. Like, it's probably one of the best dark rides I've ever seen. And for it to only take 2 weeks, I mean, that's amazing.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, and I'm really over the moon that I'm the first person to do this with you, so appreciate that. But yeah, just dark ride instantly come into my head when I read the rules of the contest, and Toon Blaster at Chesterton first come to mind, so I sort of took inspiration from that. And this is what you see, I suppose.
I mean, I do love Toon Blaster, and you can really see that playing out in the theme here. And, you know, the queue line really stands out for me as the first thing that you've done. And this is really a question I want to ask you, really, is when people do dark rides, I think people box themselves in, and that's really the first mistake they make when they're trying to build a dark ride. What was the first thing? Did you do the queue or the coaster? Or was it, you know, the building, the set first?
Well, basically, like you said, this one took me 2 weeks because the first 2 weeks of the contest I actually built one and I saved over it, so I lost it. So this one you see is the second one I built, so I learnt a lot from the one before. So I basically started with the station and then the shop, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I don't envy you. Really, for all this pathing that you've done around. I can just imagine it, of course, goes over the ride at different points. And also for you, as you'll see, the viewers will see later on in this video, the different, you know, it's really a rabbit warren of paths and emergency exits all the way around, whether it's a block section or whatever. It's so clever. And whilst from the cinematics you will have seen at the start of the video, the guests do look like the most bored ever on a ride that I've ever seen. But it's no fault of Flooded Tombs, it is just Planco peeps not enjoying the theming all too much, even though it's amazing. They're just going a bit too slow, but that's really a thing that I noticed when I first got on this coaster. Of course, it is a coaster, not a dark ride that goes slowly, and as we get on the initial bit of this ride, you can see the kind of speed that we'll be going throughout this, and it makes, I think, a 6-minute POV for this one. So of course we're going to speak all the way through and hopefully explain some of the build processes that have gone through this. I mean, it's incredible from the start that you can see the architecture in here, and also when you look up to the top, that's something that people do in real life. Just take a look at the ceiling and look at the lighting rigs that are lighting up things triggered as well just here. So do you want to talk us through for what the story was? I know you were going for this Toon Blaster kind of theme, but was there something that you wrote down really for a story?
Sort of. I mean, obviously Renee Fu was my character, and then I had an idea of her trying to find this jewel of the eye before the bad guys found it. So I wanted a bad character in there somewhere, which you'll see in the next scene. This one here, if you look to your right,
yeah, there we go.
Actually, I think you missed this second one here on the live stream before.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then the one to your left was just a fire exit, because I think you said something about the skeleton.
Yeah, I mean, I love it how you've themed actually fire exits into the theming of everything, and you've really blocked it off. It's almost like Disney Go Away Green and stuff like that. And I mean, here it would be nice almost if the coaster could spin a little bit, maybe if it's a spinning coaster or whatever, just so you could have a good look at that wall. I don't want to criticise you too much in this video, but of course constructive criticism I'm sure is appreciated. And I mean, yeah, I just guess you crank your neck to the right a little bit there. But going into this first dark room, I mean, the fire lights it up beautifully. And of course, I'd imagine that this would be fake fire and all those material fabric, hairdryer kind of things that you have in real life. And yeah, you can really see the story coming together. And without even any words, you've had, of course, that first little paragraph that you have from Rennie Fu at the start. And, you know, it makes it such an expansive building. It seems so big, although when you look at the outside, you know, it is a really nice compact ride. And yeah, what was your thoughts between, you know, you've got this wall on the left-hand side. How difficult was that with all these different adventure pieces?
No, it's just basically build one section, copy, paste, and move it. It you know, it gets a bit boring, but yeah, it was easy. So to me, it was easy.
Well, it's certainly effective, and yeah, I mean, all the little details that you've got going around, like even it looks like someone's dropped a little lantern and some rope on the floor.
That was sort of like the bloke that was stealing the jewel of the eye. He's ran through this way. That was what I was going for. And then, yeah, obviously this little scene.
Yeah, I like that. Again, triggered and Rennie Fu, you know, and something that I really noticed in the stream, of course, in this we're going for the ride POV and we won't so much break down each of the scenes because we don't want to really break the immersion, but we will have a look at the backstage a little bit later. But certainly the thing that I realised before we go into the exciting bit of the coaster, that's the ride faster pace bit, is that Rennie Fu, you've got a stick behind her back, and it's really propping her up, and just how realistic it would be in real life. I really haven't seen that done in Planko too much. Did you get any inspiration for that?
No, none at all. I just thought if she's not going to be moving and it's not going to be a human, so it has to be an animatronic, and the animatronics in the game have that stick holding them up, so I thought, why not do it? And it was just from that, really. I've never seen anyone else do it before.
No, I think it is like amazingly original. That I've never seen anyone do a mascot. Of course, you know, of course you're limited to what you have with the animatronics, whether it be in the studios pack or whatever. Some brilliant ones in there for stationary characters. But I think if you really want the peep scale, why not just go for a mascot? And I know sometimes they are a bit restrictive with the themes that you can have. But yeah, I really love that, and they're so more expressive as well with, you know, they don't have such a bad animation loop. And then looking to the left-hand side now as we fly through this block section here, a nice door opening up, and what I also like is it seems like the doors don't actually clip into the track, which is really important. So good realism also there. And then finally into the final few scenes, really, you can see a switch track that we'll go and see in a little while. And then a cowboy kind of guy, the guy who's been trying to steal the jewels, with snakes all around him. And I mean, my imagination's running wild. You can really set the story for yourself. And I mean, there's music playing all the way through. You've got different sound effects and everything. And then a nice tie it all together with a good bit of writing just here to let you know. And I like how you've got the different tones of lighting on that as well. And again, you've got a brilliant look at the pole propping up Rennie Fu just there. And it's so minimalistic as well. I don't think it's all too much theming, like really in different places. Like I think you've got, like in that snake scene, you've literally just got someone stood there and then you've got some foliage all the way around. I don't think you need too much. And I don't think you've really overdone it like I think some people might do in dark rides, especially when you want the piece count so low on the console. And I mean, look at that station. Pretty amazing. And as you'll head round to probably, I mean, I enjoyed that. But if you enjoy that, you're going to enjoy this gift shop that we go and take a look at now as we go stationary. Have you got any final tips for people if they're doing a dark ride?
Just to plan it, really. I'd probably build your track and plan where your scenes are. And if you want to go as far as I did, then make sure you have alleyways for fire exits in between the scenes rather than building one room next to another. Have a corridor between them. So, I mean, that's my advice anyway.
I can imagine it's so important to get that planning in.
And when you talk about, you noticed about the doors don't clip through the track, well, that's a pet hate for me. I hate watching someone build something so realistic and then the doors swing open on a track. It's like, you can't have that in real life. So why is it here? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
No, totally. I think it is a pet hate of mine also. You've really
Yeah,
highlighted it there. And,
yeah,
really well executed how you've got it all raised up. And also, it's like a really Disney ride. You can see people doing a bit of a vlog if suddenly you have to stop at one. Oh no, we were evacuated, a bit of clickbait in the title and everything.
yeah.
It's really realistic to how it would be in real life. And I mean, we're scrolling through. I haven't even talked about this gift shop yet, and you can see all the realism that we've got going on. Beautiful workshop creations as well. If you search Flooded Tombs, or however that awful Frontier Workshop works on the Xbox, if you search it, you probably won't find it. But if you stumble across it, then you'll find some really good realism on there by Flooded Tombs. If it's some realistic signs or whatever. But yeah, really good job in that gift shop, and certainly some good ideas for me. I'm going to be plagiarising and stealing that, of course, with credit. But yeah, loads of different ideas for me to use just there. And then looking at the realism of the backstage, the kind of the set building that you've got going on. I love how you got the water treatment and all the cars and everything lined up. We'll just go down the rabbit warren a few times just to see. You can even access the snakes and stuff for the backstage of that kind of zoo area. But yeah, really love it. Any final thoughts on the gift shop and any tips for that?
No, not really. I mean, I took your advice from, I think it was Karina or Flooded Tombs, when you said put a bit more effort into your shop. So I went all out on this one.
Well, you've certainly done an amazing job, and I mean, you can see going through all these backstage routes, it's incredible, even leading through to that shop just there. But that does sadly bring us to the end of this video. I really thank Flooded Tombs for joining me today, and hopefully the first of many. I'm not going to say all too much too yet. But if you've really enjoyed this one, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me, Flooded Tombs.
Well, thank you for having me.
If you've enjoyed this video and Flooded Tombs' work, then I'm sure you'll love one of these two spotlights on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.